Oh. That's recording. This is Children of the Revolution, and today my name's Louise Taylor, and I probably will have done a little introduction before this, and today I am interviewing Dr Kendra Reynolds. This is lovely. So yeah, today I was very keen to get you in for chat, and thank you very much for obliging. About your, so you're a doctor, you finished your PhD.
Yes, such a strange feeling.
Yeah. You were telling me you're 25.
Yeah.
So, hope you don't mind me sharing that.
No.
So you've been studying since the age of 4.
Yeah, haven't stopped, no break.
No break.
Yeah.
So, what it was your PhD topic. Do you mind telling us a little bit about what your PhD was on?
Yeah. It was, well, the title was Spacetime and Bodies, the Feminist Architecture of Postmodern Anti-Tales. So basically, I talked about kind of radical fairy tale retellings by women writers mostly, or in some film. And basically, the overall kind of idea was that these anti-tales are given a voice to these entities that are being oppressed or marginalised.
Right.
Or these people who are kind of on the outside, and it's saying that if you think about big concepts like space, time, or bodies, in a kind of myriad of ways or kind of multiple perspectives, you see that there's not one way of being. There's this kind of spectrum of experience. So that's the kind of overall vibe that I was going for.
Right, and I love it. So you're like, one of the things you were saying before, like the forgotten narratives.
Yeah.
And the living on kind of the outskirts.
Yes.
And can you tell us a bit more about like the tales where, like the characters that you came across?
Yes, so for example, there's Tanith Lee's Cruel Pink, and in this novel you have like 5 different characters, and they're these people that normally don't have their voices heard. So there's this male businessman, and from the outside he looks as if he's really normal, you know, the typical kind of middle class male going to work every day on the train, and he's really obsessed about watching the time and fitting in. And then when he goes home, he allows himself like 2 peeks a night into this closet with women's clothing, and he has this kind of queer identity that he keeps hidden. And you see him gradually just break down throughout the course of the narrative, because he's trying to be something that he's not, and eventually just kind of falling apart.
So it was talking about so he had the real self, I suppose, was the evening.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
When he was free to be. But
he see himself as 2 different people, which was really sad. And you could see them kind of conflicting, and whenever the 2 threatened to come together, then it was just too much for him, because he wasn't what society expected.
And society expectations, like, is that something that came in quite a lot?
Oh yeah, it came into everything basically in the PhD. This idea of black and white morality, good and evil. What a person should be. These women who should be married according to fairy tale narratives, suddenly their marriages aren't working out, but you don't see the after the happily ever after of the marriage, so you don't see the darkness of that.
And the idea of anti-fairy tales is something that was, whenever I was saying that I did women's studies in like early 2000, I think 2001, and it was coming up, there was a strong theme there. Yeah. But it doesn't seem to have emerged that much in popular fiction, or am I wrong?
Well, it's starting to emerge now, but my research is trying to bring it in again and going, there's a new genre called the anti-tale. So it's not just a fairy tale retelling anymore. It's something different from that, because society's mythology is about who you should be, what you should be like, what kind of model your life should follow, is all embodied in these fairy tales that we grew up with. And all these Disney films are still coming out, and some of them though are starting to become anti-tales, where they're engaging with this idea that, you know, you can't be just a hero or a villain. Maleficent, for example, you know, you can be both. So it is entering popular culture, but just the language of anti-tale or fairy tale retelling is not really coming out too strongly yet.
Yeah, I suppose it's like as individuals, as characters, there's many layers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and now you're starting to see characters that you wouldn't normally have seen. You know, especially in art house film and everything is starting to, those kind of queer identities, these people that feel silenced. We're given a dominant idea of what history is. Yeah. And then the anti-tales that I study are these kind of marginalised small histories. And they're kind of, getting into that big blanket of history now, and it's showing, there's different perspectives.
Also, and see for any young people, not just women who might be interested in academia, what would be your advice to them, or what would you say? Because you were saying, with the PhD, quite a lot of other people who are doing PhDs, they dropped out, or they. Yeah. And what was it for you that was one of the markers for successfully completing it? Or
I think the reason I feel that I completed it was because I didn't do it with the idea that I'm going to have this job at the end of it.
Yes.
For me, I was passionate about gender conflicts, and I was passionate about these kind of silenced people. Yes. And these different voices. So I was able to finish it because I had the passion for it. And I just wanted the time to think about it and the space, to write and publish the ideas. So I think it's more important to pursue it as a personal journey rather than a kind of academic job, kind of motivated one.
Well, it's funny because whenever I was talking to them queens, they were like, it's quite important that you're dispassionate about the subject.
Oh, wow, no.
And I was like, but I think they meant not emotional.
I think
possibly
what they probably meant was that you aren't so passionate about it that you're blind to the other kind of criticisms of it, that you're able to let your argument be really strong by seeing all sides,
Okay.
You don't remain blind, but no, you can't be dispassionate about it either.
It's not really something I can do.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't advise that. If you don't like the topic, don't do it.
Well, they were a quantitative researcher. So they they dealt with numbers.
Yeah, well, that's why the arts and humanities is important. It's kind of qualitative stuff as well.
That's what I'm interested in. Yeah, definitely. But so with the research, you were really passionate about it. What I'd like to know is, in terms of when you study something like this and your awareness increases, how did it affect your day-to-day? Were you getting frustrated when you saw books and people reading fairy tales and you're like, or did it impact how you viewed everyday interactions?
Oh, it inevitably it does. I would find myself getting annoyed, by things that people would say if I was out in a bar or anything, and I'd be like, did you hear what that person just said? They can't say that. You see what he just said to her, and the kind of dynamics. And some people would go, okay, I'm just shush. Don't start with the feminism stuff. But I just assume that everybody's a feminist. Everybody assumes that equality is a really important thing. But it really surprised me that no, not everybody's on that page. So I tend to get really annoyed. But you have to remember that I'll get annoyed in the writing and hope that some views change at some point.
Yeah. So you think with feminism you were viewing the world. You see, I would be like you. I don't understand why people would be resistant to the term feminist.
Yeah. Well, there's a big backlash against it because people see it as anti-men a lot of the time, which isn't the case. It's simply equality for men and women. And feminism is really important for my thesis as well, to understand feminism as this kind of whole oppressed part of society. It brings in queer identities, and it brings in racial identities and everything. All of those are included in that. They're not isolated cases. No, I think that's important.
And there was a big backlash going on whenever I was about race.
Yeah.
There was a huge thing, and queer identity, but race was, and I can see it on Instagram. You follow quite a lot of black feminists, and they would be very angry about how their voices have not been heard.
Yeah, there's this kind of idea that white women were complaining a lot. It was their voices that were being heard mostly, and that was the case. But you can't deny their suffering either. But now, feminism's bringing in the whole collective, which is so important, and it's going, we understand that you can have a dual oppression, in terms of the racial narrative and the gender narrative.
Yeah.
But you just respect the difference in each situation.
Yes.
It's all about embracing this difference and going, yes, you're oppressed in this way and this way. And, we can't just all go, oh, poor us, in every kind of way. If you're a white woman, you have privilege in some way.
Yes.
And it's important to acknowledge that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just respecting difference, really.
Yeah, and absolutely, yes. And that's like, you have a privilege, you haven't asked for it, but it is there that you're white.
Exactly. So you just have to kind of remember responsibility, respecting difference, knowing that everybody's story is different, so you can't kind of tar them all with the one brush.
Yeah, and that's why I think with the children of the revolution, any revolution, all women's live, everything, it's about hearing. And you've said about it's about everybody's experiences being valid. Exactly. It's about listening to all the voices.
Yeah.
So if somebody's going, you've been unfair to me, rather than defending yourself, listen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where does that come from? I love that, but I love about what you said about the you said about the forgotten narratives and the underestimated entity. Can you tell us a bit more about the underestimated? I love that.
Yeah, so some of the entity-tales that I studied, as well as these kind of queer identities and these kind of racial outsiders, there's also this idea of underestimated youth.
Yes.
And underestimated aging. So this idea in fairy tales that the young are innocent and pure and good and kind of powerless and have these authorial figures. It's this idea that young people can actually hold a lot of power and a lot of wisdom, and they haven't been conditioned in the same way as adults a lot of the time. So they have this kind of unique perspective that's really important to take into consideration. They can see things that we don't see.
Yes.
And it's this idea that they should be kept from that.
Yes.
That
I suppose with the children of the revolution, hearing younger voices is something that I think is so important.
Yeah.
Because often we're looking to the older generations, or my parents, or so I'm nearly 40, so thinking most people in the most powerful jobs would be older than me or around my age. Would that be right, do you think?
You see, there's the collection I saw was Kate Bernheimer's How a Mother Weaned Her Girl from Fairy Tales, and it's this idea that the real power comes from intergenerational understanding. So it's this back and forth kind of dialogue between the young and those who are older. But like you said, it's those who are in the middle, I think, that have kind of the most say, the most sway. Older people are marginalised as well, but they have the same innate wisdom as the children do.
Yes.
And whenever you bridge that gap over the top of the centre, I think that's when you get kind of whole picture.
Yes, whereas I'm like this here in the schools, I want you to take over. Yeah. Because it's actually your future, but actually, so the teenage, a lot of the time, they don't have any voice, and they don't really have. So with most people who are in positions of power, they were either trained before the internet. Actually, a lot of the skills, a lot of the ideas, a lot of the things that they still hold fast are out of date.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
You have to keep moving. Yeah. At the times, which our society doesn't do very well. Yeah, but absolutely. It's the young and the old have been told that their voices don't matter. Yeah. So it's really hard to peel that away and to get them to understand that they have power and that they have a voice. And I think that's where the real radical impulse in society is, where you go, okay, you're on the outside of the kind of dominant voices, but that's why your voice matters. Yes. Because that's the only way that we can inspire change, is if we have these different narratives coming in.
Yeah, that's what I think, absolutely. And then when you hear what they have to say and what they're hoping for, they're often devoid of the trauma. They're devoid of the bitterness.
Yes.
And they haven't maybe got to a point where they're detached and it's like a dog-eat-dog thing. It's more kind of hopeful.
It's kind of like an untainted truth you can get from them, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But you can't get from adults. I think it's a really valuable perspective to have, but it's just not valued at the minute.
Yeah. So if you were to change things, if you were if you're
me on the spot.
Well, what do you think? Like, whenever you were thinking about like looking and seeing what you're and having, like, I don't know, it's just kind of, what would you hope for the future? What would you like to see different for our young people?
I would like to see them leading their own education. So I think I would like to see student-led education being a bigger part of curriculum.
Oh, wow.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
I did a module on teaching in higher education, and that's really coming across now as a student-centred approach, but it doesn't seem to be filtering down to the secondary or primary education too much.
No, well, sure, we're home educated, and my approach would be child-centred.
Yeah.
And it's quite radical, but it just completely makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because I think you gravitate naturally to you're naturally curious. I'm very naturally curious, and you gravitate to learn about things that you're naturally drawn to.
Yeah.
And I would learn about many things.
Yes. Yeah.
So my children would have varied interests too.
Yeah. Whenever you're I struggled in secondary school as well, because you're stifled into the curriculum and the culture that is there.
Yes.
And you don't really feel free to express yourself. So I think that is a valuable part of the child-centred approach, where you don't feel like you can't say anything because you do what the teacher says. It's all adult telling child what to do. That's my big issue.
And that's something that because like 25, you've been in education since the age of 4.
Yeah.
So what did you respond to best?
Yeah. Well, because I had a hard time, kind of in secondary education, I didn't fit. I didn't feel like I fit in. And teachers actually, no matter how well behaved you are, if you don't fit in, often you are the problem.
Oh.
I think I got that sense, that even though I was well behaved and I was working hard, the teachers still favoured those who fit into culture better, kind of thing. That's what I kind of felt. So whenever I got to university and was able to express myself then, and it was me leading my own learning, that was the big thing for me. That was like a light switched on, and I was like, okay, I can do this now.
But you were academically, you were successful. So there's, so in the school there would be like, you did well.
I did, but I didn't reach my potential, I don't think. Like, I only started to do really well when I got into university. Like, me and my twin sister both did well in terms of our school, but I wasn't a real high flyer. I wouldn't have been classed as that. I was just a hard worker.
Okay.
And it was then whenever I was able to lead my own learning then that I excelled. So,
brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's very good to know. And that's another thing, like, for young people, it's like, I just got offered for unconditional offer to do my PhD. And I wouldn't have, I did alright at high school. But I found my things more afterwards.
Yes.
I find the real passion, the subjects, the love for learning has come after. The compulsory education.
School will provide you with the basics, but it doesn't really encourage you to pursue your passions, which is a big issue, because I only twigged on to that whenever I left. And if you are I find too, but then I'm a lot older, so I don't know if things are a bit different now, but if you're bright, you're considered, the natural progression was you stayed on after GCSEs, you did the subjects. But I was talking to somebody recently who said that her child was staying on to do A-levels, and she had to, she had 3 subjects she wanted to do, but then the timetable didn't allow that. I had that issue as well, actually, where I wanted to study music as one of my subjects, and my school didn't offer it. So I said I would go to the grammar school and do that one day a week, and they were like, no, sorry, you can't do that because the timetables don't fit. And it was something I was really passionate about as well, and I haven't been able to get back to that. Because I couldn't squeeze it in then. And it's kind of closed some doors. So I think that is a big issue as well.
And also I think with the universities are more student-led learning. So there's a lot more scope where you've fewer hours. Even I did sociology, we had very few hours. That was we had a lot of reading, so we had to do a lot of And then, but even like medicine in many unis is there's much less hours and a lot more student led.
Yeah.
Well, it would make sense to be doing that more in prep for the A-levels.
Yes.
So you could do your music.
Yeah.
But you don't actually need that much tuition, do you?
Yeah, no, I know. And also, just that point that you said, it would make sense to be doing it before you get to university.
Yeah.
There are so many people I've seen struggling to lead their own learning when they get to university.
Yes.
Because they've been spoon-fed
Yes.
at primary and secondary school and told this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
If you started that process earlier,
Yeah.
they would be much more independent, you know, and much more confident
Yeah.
about writing what they want to write and structuring things and going off and doing their own reading and their own research.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue as well. In universities, people don't know how to do it. It takes them a year to kind of get into that mode.
But sure, whenever I go into the schools now, the high schools, and I say, right, okay, I'd like you to come up, you can do whatever you want, they can't cope.
No, I know, they get really shocked. If
They're
you
like,
don't,
no, no, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Because it was like a performance. I was like, right, a performance piece about what you've learned for the last. We did six sessions, so I was like, just do a little. Like you could interview each other, you could do whatever you want. You free rein.
Yeah.
They were like, no, tell us what to do.
Yes, I taught in the school for a year, and that was the same thing. I was like, okay, so we're gonna, you know, go off and do this by ourselves, and you can feed back your ideas to me. And everybody sat there looking at me. I was like, well, can you not, like, what's wrong? And they were just like, well, you haven't, you know, tell me what to write. Like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
And it's quite sad though.
No, it is, and it's not their fault.
No.
It's the way they're told that, you know, things are done, you know.
They're terrified.
Yeah, exactly.
You crazy woman. We need guidelines.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you just do 5-minute thing. 5-minute thing on anything for the last 6 weeks, and just no.
It makes them
good.
so uncomfortable.
Oh, so uncomfortable.
And it's horrible because then I feel bad for making them feel like that.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I would just see this. See 21 minutes. Just like that. Women allowed. Women allowed NI. You've just got. You're part of.
Yeah, I've just become a member of that.
So that's a bit more about your. Do you mind if we talk about that for a minute? That's a bit more about your creative. So from the academic side, were you doing? Was it creative? The PhD?
No, it wasn't creative at all, which is why I'm loving it now. And I'm starting to try and write creatively now that I have had my space to think about things, and I want to get these issues across, you know, in the medium of creative writing, and bring some of my personal experiences into that, because I wasn't able to do that so much with the academic stuff.
Yeah. But you went straight from, you just did straight, you know, degree, masters.
Yeah, there was no space for it. So.
And now you're just like, right.
Yeah, taking ownership of it.
Dr Kendra in the house. And you did a poetry.
I did a reading of a couple of my short stories recently.
Was it a poetry night or what was it?
It was a showcase for creative writers in Limavady.
Oh, brilliant.
So basically we had 8 weeks where we wrote our stories and everything, and we had guidance from an amazing woman, and she helped us along, and then on this night we were able to showcase it and get the confidence and let people hear what we'd written. So it was the first time anybody's ever heard my creative stuff, so it was really good. It was really fun.
And did it feel different?
Really different. It was actually very powerful for me, because the short stories were based on my emotions and some scenarios I've been in, and I was able to bring the PhD and the kind of gender stuff into that and go, this is how it's affected me personally.
Wow, yeah.
And to have some people there say, oh my goodness, you said exactly what I have felt.
Wow.
That was really powerful for me, because that's what it's all about, really. It's reaching out to other people and feeling like you're being heard.
Oh, so there's that connection.
Yeah, it's feeling like you're being heard and that they've had something voiced as well as the connection. It just makes it amazing.
That's brilliant. And what are your hopes? So tell us about the plan. The master plan.
Yeah, I don't really have a master, but I want to be a writer, a creative writer, really.
Okay.
But I want to continue with the academic stuff as well. But I want to filter those ideas into the creative works, because I think it can reach a wider audience there. And that wee small scenario of one person saying that to me, where it touched them and it was able to help them feel like they weren't as weird as they thought.
Well, yeah.
That is what I would love to do, maybe, and reach some more people.
So I'm aware of time, but I love this, right? This is awesome. See, with you see the forgotten narratives.
Yes.
And do you think that there are a lot of people on the outskirts, and do you think, now this might sound a bit bad, the outskirts are increasing?
Yeah.
Do you think people are do you think people are starting to embrace their individuality, and more are rejecting societal norms? They're rejecting the societal pressures.
I think the margins are getting wider because a lot of people, the veil has been stripped back and they feel dissatisfied. They realise that they're not happy in mainstream culture, I think, and so they are taking this kind of step outside.
The veil has been stripped back.
Yeah, I think it has, but you see the backlash of that, with people getting very angry and voting for people like Trump or that kind of thing. There are people going, no, we need to cling to these ideas of what society is. But no, I think more and more people are embracing their individuality because more people are speaking out. So I think that's why Children of Revolution is a really good idea, because it's going, here's a different way to live that isn't the way other people are living, but it's okay to do that.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant to not feel that you have to live to feel like I have a choice over how I live.
Exactly. And isn't it amazing that people feel that they don't have a choice over how they should be able to live? I mean, it's unbelievable, the whole idea of it. And I think consumer culture, everything, preys on our insecurities and us feeling that we don't fit in, and you see that backlash from a lot of young people now, where they are so determined to fit in that they're just so unhappy because they can't measure up. And some of these people who are marginal identities, is really sad because they're still stuck in the centre. And people, things like this, or like the creative writing, it might connect with somebody to bring them out to the margins, go, okay, here's a different way of living, and you can do that, and you can try and find your happiness.
And the thing is, I suppose you will find that in uni. You will people thinking differently. It's a brilliant place to meet eccentrics.
It is.
Different free thinkers.
It is. Yeah, I think that's what really helped me as well. It made me think, okay, I am still an outsider, but now I have seen that there are other people like that. So I'm not that weird. It's okay.
And it's awesome to be in some ways, because you can drop some of the shit.
Exactly.
You don't have to buy into a lot of it.
And you feel so much better when you feel more authentic.
Yes. But then it was interesting, you were saying before, like, about your teacher. Because, there's something, I think people conforming makes people feel very safe. It is very much about this idea of safety. And then whenever you don't fit that, you're like, okay, well, where do I go now? Who'll understand me? That was my big thing when I was younger. You didn't feel understood. And whenever somebody asked you what was wrong, you didn't even know, because it didn't fit into their paradigms of what was wrong. Oh, wow.
If you know what I mean.
I wrote about autism today. And saying I would be considered on the spectrum somewhere in some of the ways that they're like, well, because free thinking and not just buying into, like, if somebody says, I'm a nuclear physicist, so therefore I know everything and you can't even comment ever on it. And I'd be like, well, actually that's not true. Like, well done for being qualified. But I can still talk about it. I can still have an interest. And I suppose the word autism means other or different, and it's often a social isolation. It means isolated self.
You see, society likes to put these labels like autism and everything on it, but we're all on this kind of, big spectrum, and just because somebody's different or other, you shouldn't go, oh, they're autistic or they're this.
Because I don't understand them by my limited view.
Exactly.
So give them a label, quick.
I hate labels.
But I was looking at it, because sometimes people go, oh, they're autistic. Alright, okay. So they stop actually trying to understand?
To me, I think whenever somebody, mentions somebody's autistic or something, I'm like, oh, they're a free thinker, or they're somebody that is just different. And it has really interested me as well. There's people around me that said, no, I think I would be on the autistic spectrum. I was like, but you're just, outside the norm, it's okay.
And then you start thinking, if I don't behave in these ways, it can be incredibly disempowering.
It is.
You know, it's say like in school they're like, oh well, you know, they're 7 and they're not doing this, so therefore there's something wrong. It's like they're treating every child like they should be one child.
Yeah,
a slight variation of one child.
Yeah, everybody's so individual that to have one system in place that fits everybody does not make any kind of sense.
Yes.
No, you're moulding people to feel like they should be the same, rather than going, okay, this individual likes this individual learns in this kind of way. You know, schools don't do that. And that's why you have people coming out feeling inadequate, is because it didn't fit their style of learning.
And that's why I think it's so powerful for somebody like you to say that, because you will have been seen, you could be argued to be a success of that system. Do you see?
Yeah, no,
do you see it? I was told, did you alright that school? That school did you? No, it was my personality that did me alright.
Yeah, I
did okay, I made the school look good. The school was good, I had a good time there.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually learn any subjects that I really enjoyed, like sociology, psychology, all those subjects. Media, politics, we couldn't do any of those. I was the only person to study sociology at Manchester University who had never done sociology before.
Yeah.
Do you see? So it's like the education, but it did you well because you're about to do a PhD, and that's a difficult position where you're actually, I don't think this education system's very good.
No.
I think there's a lot of good people working within it.
Yeah.
Brilliant teachers, but I don't think the system's good, and that's why I think our voices are quite important in this debate.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know? Because I would be seen as like a success of the system, whereas I had a lot of trauma and issues, you know, within the system. I didn't feel like I belonged. I was that outsider.
Yes.
And it was only when I got to, you know, kind of lead my own learning and be myself that I kind of excelled. So I wouldn't say I'm a success because of the system. I was just passionate, and, you know, I embraced, you know, kind of learning, and that's how I think I did it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And is there anything that we haven't talked about? Anything, I don't know, being a 25-year-old woman in 2018, how does it feel? Feels good to be a 39-year-old. I'm loving it. I'm loving meeting people, and I think women issues are improving. There's a lot of work to be done. I think it's a brilliant time.
I think it is, because it feels like something's happening now, I think, and I am starting to come into myself just now. So I'm like kind of excited about what's going to happen. So awesome. I just look forward to the future.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much.
No problem.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
No, it wasn't.
I hope it's recorded. Thank you.